Yes, my people, welcome back to the channel. And today it's a special video because I will be picking my Premier League team of the season. And I'm not gonna lie, it is a little bit early. Of course, there is still a few weeks to go to the Premier League season ends. But just to give you some background context, I actually came across this on the Premier League app, which is essentially a squad builder that asks you to vote for your Premier League team of the season. So as I was actually going through it, I was actually building my Premier League team of the season. I thought, you know what? I could actually turn this into a video. So here we are. And the cool thing actually about this is that it gives you the formation, so you can actually change the formations depending on what you prefer and maybe depending on the players that you pick. And then of course at the same time it also gives you nominees, so some of the best performers in the Premier League this season in terms of positions as well, so defenders, midfielders and forwards. So I thought, yeah, you know what, this will actually be a cool video. The formation I'm going to go for now is 4-3-3. That's the standard formation, of course. And then, of course, depending on how I build the squad, I may change the formation later on in the video. I did do this video previously. I did do it on my channel halfway through the season to see who would have made my Premier League team of the season at that point. I will put the link to that video in the description as well for those that want to check it out. But to be honest with you, I don't think there's too many differences in terms of the 11 for my Premier League team of the season from then and now. But of course, there are some performers that have really, shined in the second half of the season that couldn't force their way into this team as well. So without further ado, we're going to go straight into it. And we're going to start off with the goalkeeper position. Now, for the goalkeepers, they do have some, nominees here. So you've got Raya, Donnarumma, Pickford, Henderson, Rose, and Kelleher. But I think, obviously, it's obvious that it's between these two here, Raya and Donnarumma. It's tough because I don't think there's a right or wrong answer here. It just comes down to preference and what you sort of value more. I think obviously David Raya's had more clean sheets, and of course defensively Arsenal have had a better record than Man City. They are a much stronger, better defensive unit as well, and David Raya has been a big part of that. Whereas of course Donnarumma for me has made some huge saves, and I think that he's one of the biggest reasons as to why they're even in the position that they currently are. And as you can see, obviously he's made way more saves as well. And of course, Man City defensively have been shaky this season, so they face a lot more shots. And I think he's been vital in the fact that, he saved them a lot of points. It's tough. And of course, recently, because this is after the Man City and Arsenal game, of course, and Man City currently sit first. It's very hard to ignore the mistake that he made in the game against Arsenal, Donnarumma. So that is playing on my mind a little bit. However, I am going to stick with my original decision and keep Donnarumma because I think he's been so important for Man City this season, and he's been a big signing for them. But bear in mind, he did come in the summer, so he's had a huge impact at the club. So I'm going to stick with Donnarumma. At right back is kind of weak. I don't think there's many standout right backs. The only ones I can think of on the top of my head are obviously Timber, Reece James, and probably Munoz from Crystal Palace. And of course, as you can see, there are some names here for the nominees, but I'm going to go with Timber, and I'm going to stick with Timber, even though he's currently injured at the moment, because I think he's been very consistent for Arsenal. Very rarely puts a foot wrong, very well all-rounded. And I think he's a big miss currently for them defensively. I think, it's had an impact. His absence has definitely had an impact on Arsenal. And it just shows how important he is to that team. And for me, I'm going to stick with Timber because I do really rate him really highly. And I think he's had a really good season. Obviously, prior to him actually getting injured. So I'm going to stick with it. Of course, Reece James has a shout, but I think he's also been injured, and Chelsea haven't had the greatest of seasons. And Munoz as well has had some, some good performances for Crystal Palace as well. But I'm going to stick with Timber. For the centre halves now. So the first centre half, and again, you can see we've got some names here: Gabriel, Saliba, Guehi, Van Dijk, Van Heck, Tarkowski, Konsa, Ballard, Senesi. So there are some names here, but for me, again, it's only really between these three here. And the first name I have to go through immediately is Gabriel, just because I think he represents and epitomizes everything Arsenal have been this season. Very strong defensively, very strong in set pieces, both offensively and defensively, and I think Gabriel is a big part of that, and even when times when he hasn't been playing, you can feel his presence has been missed. So for me, Gabriel, arguably one of the best centre backs in world football, has to make it. And I think he's had a tremendous season for Arsenal. And then opposite him, this is where it kind of gets a little bit techie. I'm not gonna lie to you, because there has been debates on this, right, between Saliba and Guehi. Now, I think they're both exceptional centre backs, right? And Saliba has been for quite some time, for a number of years, but so has Guehi. For Crystal Palace, I think he's been such a huge figure and an important player for Crystal Palace as well. But the reason why I'm actually gonna lean towards Guehi is because, one, of course, how good he's been for Crystal Palace, especially even in that first half of the season and prior to that as well, but also the impact he's made for Man City. Before his arrival, Man City defensively were very shaky, very vulnerable. But I think he's come in, and over the last few weeks, you've seen it. He's been really, really solid for them, and I think he's tightened things up at the back for them, as along with his partnership with Kuzunov, which is they're forming a really, really good relationship there, a strong one as well. But I just feel like I have to put him. The impact he's made for City since he's arrived is clearly showing, and I think he's gonna go on to be a top centre back for many years to come. So for me, I'm gonna have to put in Guehi. Of course, Saliba is just as important to Arsenal as Gabriel is. He's also had a very, very solid season, but just based off impact, I am gonna lean towards Guehi. Now, left back, again, another very weak position. I don't think there's many standout left backs this season. Lewis Hall for Newcastle has had a good season. Luke Shaw's been consistent for Man United. Kukurea has had moments for earlier in the season for Chelsea. But for me, I have to go with Nico O'Reilly. And the reason why I have to go with Nico O'Reilly is, one, he's not a natural left back, right? He's been made to play that. He's a makeshift left back. Two, he's put in some huge performances for Man City, some vital ones. And popped up with some big goals. This is a kid playing at left back, which is not his natural position, and he's already contributed 9 goals across all competition this season. I know we're doing Premier League, but he's been, a key member of the squad and this team this season. And so I find it very hard not to include him. I also do feel like he should be on that England plane this summer. I think he's made a really, really strong case for himself. So for me, Nico Riley has to get in there. Now, moving to the midfield. Again, I don't think this one is going to be too difficult, but the first name I have to go for is my boy Bruno Fernandes. I mean, what more needs to be said about this guy, man? What have I not said about this man? I mean, I've raved about this guy for the longest, but this season I feel like he's just hit a different gear. Right now, currently on course to break the assist record. A record that's been standing for over 20 years now. But yeah, I think Bruno is just an exceptional player, and I finally, I'm glad that he's finally getting the respect that he deserves. I think people are starting to notice it. But his performance across 90 minutes, the influence, the impact he's made on the pitch, some of the goals, assists has just been phenomenal this season. And sometimes I get scared thinking about where this club would be without Bruno Fernandes over the years. So for me, he has to make it. It's not even a question. He's not just the best midfielder. In this case, for me, he's the best player this season across the board. So he has to make it. The other two midfielders now, the other one I have to give it to is Declan Rice. Now, I know a lot of people might criticize this one, and recently he's faced a lot of criticism, but I do feel like the criticism towards Declan Rice is a lot of the times unfair. I think people have unrealistic expectations of him at times, but I think he's been Mr. Reliable, Mr. Consistent for Arsenal. Even when times they haven't played well, or they haven't got results as of recent, I still feel like I look at him and I can say, yes, you're still reliable. Yeah, and I think he's been that way for quite some time now for Arsenal. And I know a lot of people are gonna try to criticize him and even question whether or not he should even be here. But for me, I think it's a no-brainer. I think after Bruno, I think he's arguably been the second best midfielder in the league. And yeah, so for me, he has to make it. The other midfielder for me is Liverpool's Dominic Szoboszlai. I feel like he has to make my team. And the reason for that is Liverpool have been poor this season, but this man, in terms of his individual level, I think he's hit a different gear. I think he's been the only shining light in a very poor season for Liverpool. Whether it's right back, centre back, right wing, whatever, he's always put in a shift, both offensively and defensively. His work rate has been phenomenal, and he scored some absolutely unreal goals this season. Goal of the season contenders for Liverpool in big moments as well. So yeah, for me, Dominic Szoboszlai has to get in. And that is my midfield three. So Bruno Fernandes, Declan Rice, and Szoboszlai. And in the forward line. Now, this one, it's a bit techie, and I'll explain in a moment why. But I'm going to start on the left-hand side. And for me, the first person I'm going to go for on the left-hand side is it's probably Morgan Rogers. All right. Kind of similar to Soboslai. I think he's been the standout player in his team. They are currently sitting in a Champions League spot, Aston Villa. They are currently, on course to get in Champions League qualification. And I think he's been a big part of that. Morgan Rogers throughout the season has been consistent. Has popped up with some huge moment, big goals for them. And yeah, he's been sensational for Aston Villa this season. I think he's, kind of become the face of the club now. Before it used to be, Ollie Watkins, but now I think he's the main guy for that club, and I think he deserves to be in the team of the season, in my opinion. And on the right hand side, now this is where it gets techie because this one's tough because I think the easy answer is Semenyo, right? But then also as of recent, Ryan Cherky has been phenomenal for Man City. And I'm not gonna lie to you, I've been thinking, should I be including Ryan Cherky in this team of the season? Because one, he's an exceptional footballer, unbelievable footballer. That is just a joy to watch. He's brought back the fun in football. Even as a Man United fan, I enjoy watching Ryan Cherky. It's that street footballer. With that a maverick that you just that you pay money to go watch. And yeah, he's brought that joy. But at the same time, I think Semenyo from the start of the season has been phenomenal. For both Bournemouth and Man City. Since he arrived, he's had an impact in the same way that, Guehi's had an impact. So he also does deserve to be in this team. Now, some people might argue and say to me, well, you could take out Rodgers and have both Ryan Cherky and Semenyo. But I think, again, it would be unfair to Rodgers just because he's been, since the start of the season, been performing well. Times where Ryan Cherky was struggling to even get off the bench. So I think it would be unfair, just to put Ryan Cherky in now because of the performances he's had over the last month or so. So I'm going to go with Semenyo in the right wing position. And then up front, I mean, the answer is, of course, obvious. It's going to be Erling Haaland, right? Because he is currently top scorer in the season. And of course, he scored a big goal against Arsenal, which then could push them on to then win the league title. Igor Thiago, though, of course, has had a phenomenal season. I mean, 21 goals in your first season in English football, playing for Brentford, who everybody had considered to go down or predicted them to go down, given the nature of their summer previously, where they lost players, lost their manager in Tom and Frank. But he's come in, of course, record-breaking, record-breaking season, obviously being the Brazilian with the most goals in Premier League history in a season. Yeah, I mean, it's tough, but I have to go with Erling Haaland. I have to go with Erling Haaland just because his goals could, take Man City to winning the Premier League title. And as it stands, he is currently the top scorer in the league. So for me, I have to go with Erling Haaland. I might change the formation slightly because I don't like the fact that this midfield is flat. So I might go for a 4-2-3-1. Oh, why does it do that? Nasty. Put Haaland here. Put. Wait. I thought this is for. Oh, so they do the 4-2-3-1 as midfielders rather than. Oh, okay. So now I'll go back to my. Oh, I'll just go back to my normal formation at 4-3-3. Yeah, but now I'll just go back to my normal formation. So, Semenyo go right wing, Haaland striker, and of course Morgan Rogers on the left. So yeah, there you have it. That is my Premier League team of the season. Let me know your suggestions. Let me know any honorable mentions. Let me know anyone that you think has been hard done by or that you think you would have included or any changes you would have made to this team. This is my Premier League team of the season. Obviously, we still have a few weeks to go to the Premier League season ends. So a lot can happen and a lot can change. Someone can make a late charge into this team. But for now, I think this will be my Premier League team of the season. So yeah, let me know your thoughts in the comments. And until next time, peace.